Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastien. It's Tuesday, February 25th. It's great having you with us. Canadian fashion mogul Peter Nygard is being set up, claims by Progressive Liberal Party Chairman Fred Mitchell, whose latest comments come after an article was published in the New York Times regarding Nygard's sex trafficking lawsuit. Mr. Mitchell contends that the setup is being manipulated by Lyford Key billionaire Louis Bacon. The article in the New York Times seeks to prove that the lawsuit is a part of a campaign associated with Bacon, who dislikes Nygard and clashed with him years ago. Now, according to the New York Times, with regard to sex allegations, two sister claimants were central to the developing lawsuit for more than a year. The article explained that they told their stories repeatedly to lawyers, investigators, and the Bahamian police, one being 15 and the other being 10 years of age at the time of the alleged acts. However, sometime later, both sisters told reporters a different story, that they had never been assaulted by Mr. Nygard, as they had never met the man. The article also revealed that the sister claimed that they were paid to make up everything by a former massage therapist at Nygard Key, who suggested that they might collect as much as $500,000 in settlement and a cut to be given to the former worker. The New York Times article then revealed that the sister claimants dropped their involvement when payments of $150 to $350 had stopped, and they felt scared and guilty. However, the article did reveal that the claimants added that it may have happened to other girls, but not to them. Mr. Mitchell contends this is proof enough, and the article, in his view, is the closest he has seen to objective reporting. Mr. Mitchell added that it's clear from the article that this is a fight in the nature of a vendetta between two billionaires in Lyford Key, and says the Progressive Liberal Party and the Bahamas is simply collateral damage in the wider dispute. He added that it is also clear that the lawsuit, an attempt to conflate political donations to the PLP, is part of an orchestrated campaign by monies provided through companies associated with Louis Bacon, who dislikes Mr. Nygard. Minister of Works Desmond Bannister says the criticisms leveled against him after the closure of the straw market for maintenance purposes is solely political. Outside of cabinet today, Mr. Bannister says the market is in desperate need of repairs due to safety challenges, and it is in no way done to force vendors out of the market.
I think you saw one vendor saying some nonsense, and we have to get away with this. So we have to stop this politically motivated nonsense that we see. I sat down with that particular vendor the day before she made her statement. She brought Mr. Obi Ferguson, who's president of the TUC. She brought her own expert in, her own engineering expert in. And when we left that meeting, the TUC president had to agree with me. Her expert went on the record, and I believe he's an engineer, saying that based on what I said, he agreed with me that the market had to be closed immediately. So this political nonsense that they came and put out there and sent out on viral on the internet is really ridiculous and really disgusting.
Minister Bannister describes the present condition of the straw market and explains why the repairs are necessary.
That system was corroding on a daily basis, and it was not operable. And so the longer we left it in there, the more it was going to corrode. The engineers advised that as a safety measure, we had to deal with that urgently. And so the vendors have now moved out. The market is being properly serviced with respect to that. And when the pipes go in now, they're going to be coated so that the corrosion won't be an issue and the problem. But also in the straw market, there's some other issues that are going to have to be dealt with. Not right now, but we're going to have to look at those issues. There is a terrible termite infestation in that straw market. And you will see that if you go in there and take some photographs, you'll see that the people are working there now, moving the wood, as much wood as possible, because a lot of the wood that was brought in is termite infested.
Mr. Bannister says vendors have been given an opportunity to continue their work, relocating at Paradise Island and the Prince George Wharf, while repairs at the downtown market are underway. Minister Bannister says the repairs are a 5-day operation, and the straw market will reopen on Saturday at 6 a.m. Nearly 6 months after Hurricane Dorian hit Abaco, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sand says there are no DNA matches for the unidentified bodies of storm victims. Dr. Sand said earlier this month that 50 bodies on Abaco had not yet been identified. Today, outside of Cabinet, Dr. Sand says the bodies left unidentified will be given a Christian burial.
Well, as we have said, they will be given Christian burial rights once we have identified the plot of land. Each set of remains will be interred in an individual plot, which will be indexed so that if there are appropriate matches to DNA or identification, then family members would have the ability to get closure. As of today, I'm advised that there has been no match of DNA with any of the remains to any individual who has come forward.
Dr. Sand says during this process of identification, he is mindful of the victims' families, whom he believes are victims as well. When asked to respond to criticisms leveled at his ministry for the process of identification, Dr. Sand says this.
As a cabinet minister, I represent the government of the Bahamas. At no time do the decisions made for the management of these remains lie solely with me or my ministry. That said, having chosen to be an elected member of parliament and having agreed to be a cabinet minister, you take the criticism, whether it is appropriate or not. I can assure you that at every single step of the way, we have sought to do what we believe is right, what is just, what is fair, and what is humane.
Last week, National Security Minister Marvin Dames said his government accepts criticisms from individuals who believe that the government is moving too slowly to identify the bodies of victims of Hurricane Dorian. Mr. Dames said the government continues to work with social services, the Ministry of Health and Red Cross Society, the Attorney General's office, and external agencies to assist with the process. He added that most of the bodies in Grand Bahama have been identified and released. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.